Walter here. For years I've been told that a real business has got to have a front door, a sign, a counter, all that jazz. You get it. Otherwise, it's just a little side hustle that you do from your laptop. But here's what my experience has taught me. If you don't have enough savings, rich parents, or a mad amount of luck, a physical store can easily become a burden. And if I'd gone for that pretty store with the sign, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. I'd probably be dead tired behind the counter trying to sell enough stuff just to pay the rent. Why do I think so? That's what I'll be explaining today by comparing a physical store to an online one. And one quick thing to keep in mind, I'm going to be talking about small stores here, not large retail chains or malls. Just your typical shop around the corner, be it a car parts shop or a bait and tackle shop. Y'all ready? Let's get started. So let's imagine it. You open your first store, you've got the balloons to celebrate your opening, you got a nice sign, family and friends are dropping by to say congrats, and your uncle's telling you, now that's a real business, not like all that computer nonsense. But here's the problem. Your emotions don't pay the rent. The landlord doesn't care how proud you feel. The electric company doesn't care that you finally become a business owner. Bills accumulate no matter what. All those feelings are nice, but it's the math that decides if you're free or not, and therein lies the most common mistake. Things fall apart when you chase the image as opposed to the numbers. So let's ditch the emotions for a second and crunch those numbers. First, let's talk about the so-called entry ticket. To open a physical store, you don't just need some money, you need a pile of money, you need lots. Even if you find a cheap place for rent, you'll probably pay for a deposit, which is usually 1 to 2 months of rent. First month's rent, maybe the last month of rent in advance, renovations, paint, flooring, repairs, fixtures, shelves, racks, counters, a register, a computer, getting a nice sign above the door, basic inventory, which is especially dicey because you're just guessing what people will buy, and licensing, permits, and maybe a consultation with a lawyer. When you add all that up, it can easily go above 14K, and I'm mainly thinking about a city like Memphis. If you're from somewhere that's more expensive, those prices are going to be higher, and we're talking about before the first customer even steps inside your door, and none of that money is guaranteed to come back. It's not invested in the way that gurus use that word, it's spent. If nobody shows up, that money doesn't magically return, it's gone. That's why I call it dead money. It just lies in the walls, in the paint, in the shelves, doing nothing until customers come to save you. Now, what about an online store? To start an online store, you don't need to sign a lease or buy furniture. All you need is a basic store platform subscription, a domain, maybe a simple theme or template, a little bit of money to test traffic. That's it. You can get away with something like $29 per month for the platform, a small test budget for ads or promotion. In other words, with a physical store, you're making a bet your life savings kind of move. And with online, you're making a let's test and learn kind of move. When you're new, that makes a huge difference because you will make mistakes. It's better to have those mistakes cost $50 instead of $5,000, right? Now, let's talk about the monthly drain. With a physical store, your monthly costs for rent are fixed. For utilities, they're mostly fixed. For insurance, they're fixed. For your internet and alarm system, they're also fixed. Staff payment is also going to be a consistent monthly payment, and you're also going to have other additional expenses such as cleaning, repairs, and supplies. It doesn't matter if you have 1 customer or 100. You'll have to pay these costs no matter what. These are default expenses. So every month before you pay yourself a cent, you're just paying to exist. This is where a lot of small shops die. It's not because the owner is lazy, but because the store's operating costs alone just eat up too much money. Now compare that to online, where your monthly expenses can be minuscule in comparison. You just have to pay for a platform subscription, a few essential tools, and also set aside some budget for traffic and content. Many of your costs grow only when results grow. If ads work, you scale. If they don't, you turn them off. With a physical store, costs keep building up whether you're making money or not, while with an online store, costs are like a volume knob. You could turn things up or down depending on what kind of sales are coming in. For someone like me, who started with no safety net, that matters. I didn't want to wake up one morning and think, oh, 1 bad month and I'm done. I preferred having enough space where I could learn, adjust, and keep going. Let's talk about time. In my FedEx days, I dreamed of being my own boss. I imagined coffee in hand, relaxing behind the counter. Then I started talking to small store owners. They were opening at 9, closing at 9, and often arriving early to unload boxes. If an employee called in sick, guess who covered that shift? They weren't free. They just swapped one boss for another, the store. A physical store is like a baby. You can't leave it for long. Even with staff, you're always worrying, did they show up? Are they treating customers right? Is the store clean? Online, you're not totally free either, let's be honest. But the store doesn't close if you step away for a second. It can make sales at 2 a.m. while you sleep. You can set up a bot to answer emails for the price of a cup of coffee. So think about it. Do you really want to buy yourself another 12-hour shift? The whole point was to escape that, wasn't it? If you open a physical store, your buyers are usually the people who live nearby, the people who walk by, and maybe a few that are referred by friends or for whom only your store has exactly what's needed. But even with ads or flyers, you're tied to that neighborhood. On a good day, maybe 100 people walk past your store. Out of those, 30 look in the window, 10 walk in, 5 buy. Bad weather, that means fewer people. Construction's on the street, fewer people. A new mall opens nearby, brother, you're in trouble. Now think about the internet. People are Googling exactly what they want to buy. These aren't random passers-by, they're intentional buyers. Instead of fighting for a handful of pedestrians, you can be in front of thousands of people who are actively searching. Imagine you open a physical store. You're only guessing what you'll sell because you haven't got an idea what's actually in demand around you. You order a lot because the shelves have got to look full, and hey, buying bulk is cheaper. Now you've put the items on the shelves. Beautiful. But oops, turns out nobody's buying what you're selling. And now you've got boxes of unsold items in your back room, and all that unsold inventory is your money being held hostage. You can try to sell them on Craigslist, discount them, or keep them hoping they'll sell someday. Meanwhile, rent's still hanging around your neck, the bills are still coming, and those boxes are just taking up your space. One bad product choice can seriously harm or even bury a small store. With an online store, a bad choice hurts far less. You can quickly change the description, switch the product, or test another offer. It's a 5-minute job versus $5,000 in unsold stock. Sure, when you have an established brand, you can't just swap products in your online store so fast. But again, the products don't take up space on your shelves, and you can put them on sale in an instant. Right now, I'm talking about small stores that anyone can run using an e-commerce platform. The point is, it's always better when being wrong costs you a few hours and a bit of ad money as opposed to a serious amount of money. I also did a lot of dumb things. During COVID, for example, I tried selling masks. It seemed obvious. Everyone needs them. Demand is huge. What I didn't really get then was that when something looks obvious, everyone's gonna jump in, which means huge competition with low margins. I also tried to do everything myself, like store setup, design, marketing, customer service, which was a big mistake. I hired cheap freelancers who started off promising the moon, and then they ghosted me. That or a bunch of them ended up delivering hot garbage. I lost a lot of money, and believe me, all that guru jazz along the lines of, I lost money, but it made me stronger, it didn't really feel like it applied to me because I was hurting, man. So when I tell you, don't throw 5 or 10 grand into a physical store until you've proven your idea online, it's not theory. But I lost that money online where fixed costs were low and I could recover. Had I made those mistakes with rent hanging over my head, I'm not sure I would have recovered. Another thing that I love about online is this. You can prove your guesses right or wrong. You can see how many people clicked on your product, how many added it to their cart. You can see how much sales have increased, which product photo or description works best. You've got data to base your decisions around, and data is beautiful. Offline, someone walks past your storefront and you don't really have an idea if they didn't come in because they didn't like the display, maybe they didn't notice your sign, or if it was because they were in a hurry, the weather was bad, or maybe they simply were just not interested. All you can do is guess about why customers aren't coming in, but without the ability to take that guess and do something with it using data, you're kind of out of luck. You don't have enough to fix anything. Online, you can analyze step by step. Do I have visitors? If you do, then you dig deeper. Do they stay? If they do they add items to the cart? If they don't, then maybe it's the offer, price, or photos. It's easy to collect data on all these points. Then you just test and adjust. It's as easy as that. I was hanging out with a friend of mine who got into e-commerce before I did. This was a long time ago. I started talking about my dream of opening up my own store on Summer Avenue. He asked me, "What, you mean like a physical one? Why?" And I told him, "I don't know, because it feels like a real accomplishment." Then he said something that stuck with me. He said, "Real is what brings you money with the least effort, not what others think is real." Then he did this. He took a piece of paper, divided it into 2 columns, one for an offline store, one for an online store, and he listed costs, time, and risks in each column. He filled the whole page with an offline store: rent, renovation, inventory, staff, utilities, time, etc., etc. As for online, there's just platform costs, domain, traffic, ads, and my time on a laptop spent. That was it. I realized that my desire to prove myself was getting me into the most fragile, risky version of business possible, and all just so it would look serious to other people. And those other people wouldn't be the ones paying the rent if it failed. I now manage several stores in different niches. No, I don't own a yacht or a luxury car. I'm still the same guy. I just don't wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. for a shift anymore, and I have a safety net. My routine looks like this. I check orders and messages, look at yesterday's numbers, tweak a product page or ad if necessary. Occasionally I look at the bigger picture, and once or twice a month, I research the trends. Some days are busy, for instance, when I have to add new products and write descriptions. Some aren't, but I'm not stuck somewhere until someone tells me I can go home. If we talk about income, on average, my stores bring about $7,000 net profit a month. It's a serious increase in quality of life for someone who used to barely cover the bills. But what's more important than how much I earn is the way in which I earn. I'm learning and playing to scale. My body isn't wrecked. My hands don't feel like sandpaper, and I can live without begging for days off. Okay, if you're thinking, alright, I get the logic, but I'm still scared to start. Good. Fear means you're taking things seriously. Here's what I do. Make 2 lists. One for a physical store and one for an online store. For the physical store, write down rent, renovation, inventory, and for the online store, write down platform, domain, test budget. Seeing everything laid out on paper really helps. Pick a niche you understand. If you're into cars, sell car accessories or parts. Don't chase hot trends that you don't understand. That stuff's much riskier. Start small on purpose. Don't try to build a perfect store on day one. Start with the simple version and get it working. Then improve little by little. Set a learning budget. Take an amount of money that won't ruin you if you lose it, and use it to test products and traffic. Ignore people who say it must look big. You don't need a fancy office, a neon sign, or a big team. Most of that is just ego. Your goal is not to look successful, but to build something that can keep you covered and then grow. Someone like me, a former warehouse worker with no business degree, no rich family, and no desire to gamble everything, the choice became clear. I wanted a simple, reliable way to make money and support myself, and that's what my online stores have become. If you're thinking about quitting your job and starting something of your own, don't be reckless. Keep the job until you're stable. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and valuable. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.